Hey guys, this is JonTaun for Total Brohammer. It's time for another Warhammer 2 replay. Alright, so today I will be leading the Greenskins against the vile Lizardmen. Alright, well let's see what the Green Tide can do here. So, for my army, I've got some Night Goblins in the front line, and Orc Boys, just to absorb some charges. The Night Goblins will apply some poison. I have some Savage Orc Biggins slightly behind them. I've got some nasty skulkers for some armor piercing and some smoke bombs. I've got 2 goblin big bosses, and they can do pretty good against single entity targets together. I've also got the 8 peak loonies for a poison and unbreakable front line. I've got 2 orc biggins on each flank for some more anti-large damage, and I got the classic goblin firing squad consisting of 2 goblin archers and rusty arrows. I've also brought a giant do some heavy-hitting single-entity damage. And for my lord, I have brought Azhag. So, I brought Azhag because he's fast. He's got Spirit Leech, which is good for bursting down these single-entity targets that the Lizardmen often bring. And Fade Abuna, so if he brings any Temple Guard, this will be really good against him. Okay, so for my opponent, he's got 2 Chameleon Skinks vanguarded way out here. I'm not sure why they're this far out. He's got 3 skink cohorts on the edges of his army. He's got 3 Source Warriors with shields in the center. 2 Source Warriors with spears and shields on each side. He's got a Cold One Spirit Rider. He's got a Lore of Heaven Skink Priest on a Pterodon up here. Bastildon with Revivification Crystal. And Kroq Gar over here. He's also got a Skink Chief, so he's probably just going to be poking at my lord the entire game. So, let's get this battle rolling. First thing I'm going to do is try to get up here. He actually starts on a much less slope, so that's an advantage for him. But let's see what this Goblin Firing Squad can do against big, heavily armored dinos like this. So both of us are just advancing. He's starting moving these Chameleon Skinks over here. I don't suggest putting vanguarding them that far out. So we're gonna have these Night Goblins fight up against these Skink cohorts. With the poison, they should be able to win that. Not to mention they are more expensive, so I think they should have that pretty well. Savage Orc Biggins are gonna run to the front line. They should trade pretty even with Source Warrior. Got my Giant moving up. Yeah, and we're just engaging across the front line. So I'm gonna have my Goblin Firing Squad shoot up this Skink Chief over here, just because he's the only thing in range right now. And I'm going to get my Giant and my 2 Goblin Big Bosses to get on Kroq Gar here. Because I want to take Kroq Gar out. These guys will apply poison. These guys are also applying poison, actually. You can see the Giant actually gets knocked down there. But Kroq Gar pops the ability that throws small entities around. So that actually gave room for my Big Bosses, Azhag, and the Strand to all get on Kroq Gar. But you can see, even though Kroq Gar's getting quadruple teamed by all these guys and the rusty arrows, Azhag is just getting the break speed off him, so that definitely was a mistake. I do believe I popped a Spirit Leech on him as well, so I'm just going to try to get Azhag out of there. And for the front line, he charged his Cold One Spear Riders in here, but I have Biggins, so Biggins did very well against them, and we're doing a really good job of holding up these guys. He's got Skinks just shooting at my Goblin Archers, that's fine, not shooting at anything particularly important. But we just got my Goblin Firing Squad hitting up Kroq Gar the entire match. As you can see, Terror's starting to go in over here. We actually did a lot of damage to Bastildon with Revivification Crystal, and the Savage Orc Biggins are doing great with their anti-large and their very high weapon strength. So he's going to try to bring Kroq Gar back in the back line, but he does rout and he does shatter as the Goblin Firing Squad absolutely decimates him. I cannot overstate how powerful these 3 really cheap units are, guys. So Kroq Gar is off the field, and we're just kind of rolling up the flank now. It's a pretty fast one. Chasing off his Skink Chief over here with Azhag. I do believe Azhag can beat him. It looks like he's going to catch him. Though I do believe he is using Slipper right now, so he is faster. Gonna bog down these Chameleon Skinks with my Goblin Big Bosses over here. And I'm going to surround these Source Warriors with spears over here. So they won't last very long with all these guys over here. He does drop a nice Wind Blast. That did a ton of damage, I gotta say. But these guys are getting terrified off. So we're starting to wrap up the Lizardmen army. These guys over here won out against the Lizardmen infantry. Now we're still done with Revivification Crystal has decided to come back. But we're going to pull the rest of these guys away And we're just going to get the Giant on. The Giant should be able to beat him pretty well in one-on-one combat. We're also going to send the big bosses over there to apply some poison and get some more single target DPS out. So I'm going to cast a Spirit Leech on this Skink Priest over here. Azhag is very low, but I do pop the Waaagh and Foe Seeker. So I think we beat this guy, if I remember correctly. We're doing a ton of damage to him. But the Skink Chief is shooting him in the back. Fortunately for me, though, his army does shatter. So let's look at the breakdown screen over here. So Azhag didn't get any kills. He just got destroyed by Kroq Gar. So lesson learned, guys. Never send Azhag against Kroq Gar, even when there's tons of support around. Because Kroq Gar will beat the brakes off of him. Goblins did pretty good at just applying poison and holding up some of their weaker units. The Goblin big bosses did pretty good damage on their single entity targets, as well as the Giant. He also brought fear and terror to the table, which was very helpful. So the Savage Orc Biggins and Savage Orcs did great against the Lizardmen, much better than I thought. They don't have a lot of armor piercing, but Lizardmen don't have a ton of armor on their infantry. They have, I'd say it's medium armor, it's 60. But yeah, these guys just messed them up. Same thing with the Orc Biggins over here. Nasty Skulkers, these guys got wrecked. These guys did pretty well. I don't think I got a chance to use any of the smoke bombs. Orc Boys were just in the middle to absorb the charge. They did pretty well, considering their situation. And the Gobbo Firing Squad, extremely useful as always. Pretty much a must pick, and almost, I can't think of a matchup where they wouldn't be super useful. Well, I say that. Maybe against Wood Elves they'd be bad. I don't know, they still could have a use if they don't get focused down by the archers. Anyway, so Kroq Gar, we took him down pretty fast. The Skink Priest, he lasted to the end of the game. That Wind Blast he had did a ton of damage. Look at that, 136 kills. Skinks did pretty terrible, and so did the rest of his infantry, honestly. His Chameleon Skinks were Vanguard way far off, so you want to have them a lot closer, guys. When you have Vanguard units that are hard to catch, you want to put them in a place where they can do some damage before the battle actually starts. Because if he was shooting at like my Savage Orc Biggins, these cost 900. And they have like no armor. They might have 0 or like 15 armor or something like that. But it's very low, so these guys would have been very cost effective against him. Instead, he was shooting at goblins when he finally got over here, and I think that was the wrong choice. In fact, he could have sent these guys into melee against those goblins and taken them out. Gold One Spear Riders, he charged them into the front line, which was a bad choice, because he was fighting Orc Biggins. He should have sent them around the edge. The Bestow Down Revivification, I mean, he had them in the right place with Kroq Gar, but I just had too much single entity DPS to survive the front line there. So if I were him, I would have had these guys much closer, had them sneak around and get on the Goblin Archers. Same thing with the Cold One Spear Riders. And since Kroq Gar is so much faster than any of my Goblin Big Bosses or Giant, I would have just pulled him through and went straight for the Rusty Arrows. But yeah, good game to my opponent, Wolfram Alpha. It was a fun game, and this is JonTaun signing out for Total Brohammer, guys. See you next time.